Today, I'm going to talk about the Earth's water cycle and Earth's water distribution. Let's start with the water cycle. The water cycle is the cycle of water as it evaporates, condenses, rains down as precipitation, and so on. The water cycle starts with evaporation. Most evaporation happens from salt water from the oceans, because oceans make significantly more water percentage than fresh water. Approximately 97%, but more on that later. Evaporation is water going from a liquid state to a gas state, known as water vapor. Ironically, even though most of the evaporation happens from the oceans during the process, the salt remains in the oceans, and the hydrogen and oxygen, H2O, evaporates, leaving salt crystals behind. The water vapor condenses, which means it begins to turn back to the original liquid state by the water vapor merging together to form water droplets. Once the water droplets fully condense, they form precipitation and fall back to the surface of the earth. Precipitation isn't just rain. It can fall in the form of rain, snow, sleet, hail, freezing rain, which is different, mist, or even appear as fog. Sometimes precipitation falls on land, which produces runoff. Runoff is a trail of emptying into some body of water, such as lakes, ponds, rivers, but mostly oceans. Some precipitation also falls where frozen water exists and freezes as ice caps or falls into the Arctic frozen waters to form glaciers. Precipitation can also pool in other places by soaking into the ground to be stored as groundwater, aquifers, or wells. Some water always exists in the atmosphere as clouds, as water vapor. The cycle constantly repeats. Now onto water distribution. As you heard earlier, water is not just fresh water. In fact, a lot of it is oceans. All of the 97% is oceans. Only this little 3% is fresh water. Usually when we think of water, we think of lakes and rivers, but that is actually only 1% of fresh water, which is less than 0.1 of total surface water. The graph on the right is 3% of fresh water broken out. Frozen water and ice caps make up most of the fresh water, about 77%, but they aren't very useful because they are frozen. Of course, nobody knows for sure the exact percentage of Earth's water, so the information really depends on the source. These are other charts with different wording, percentage, and display. Since it's nearly impossible to measure every single drop of water in the Earth, we are not exactly sure the entire percentage. For purposes of this video, the percentages were taken from notes from class. I hope you enjoyed my presentation on the Earth's water cycle and Earth's water distribution.